Hello, Joel Seach, Principal Advisor, Harpel Financial Group. Hope you're keeping healthy and well wherever you are, whether it be Metro Melbourne, Regional Melbourne, or more broadly interstate. Hope yourselves and your families are keeping healthy, well, and getting through the situation and the scenario we're in at the moment. Just a quick update from 2 weeks ago, post-federal budget, but also 2 weeks leading into the US election. I thought it was a timely time to give a quick update in October. We're in the later end of October now. So covering off on a couple of the key points. Firstly, the federal budget, which we had a lot of, suspecting that there was going to be large fiscal government stimulus coming into the market, of which about $257 billion is being pumped into the economy to help stimulate our recovery out of the COVID-19 situation that we're currently in the midst of. A couple of the key points they've done in there is some tax cuts, so reducing some tax that individuals will need to pay, and as well as businesses also, but individuals increasing their tax-free thresholds or increasing their tax bracket rates to allow more money to come into them via a tax return or reduced tax payable, which they in turn hope will help stimulate the economy by way of spending the money. In terms of the government deficit, we will be running into a deficit for a number of years to come. We're not sure how long that'll be, but it will be a deficit that'll run up over time. And a bit of silver lining, we're in a very low interest rate environment, which does help. And really, the government had no real alternative but not to have to stimulate or spend the money to get the economy kick-started again after COVID-19. The other key one that came out was the $250 concession payment to eligible card holders or concession payment recipients from aged care or DVA. Onto the US election, more broadly, that will have probably a greater impact on the markets globally and domestically. In the lead up to the election, we've seen the markets run fairly well of late on the back of some probably more so recovery in countries and some economies opening back up again and trying to sort of operate through, I guess, a COVID normal type scenario or situation. Specifically in relation to the US election, we've got Biden versus Trump, so Democrat versus Republican. Currently the market is suggesting that Biden is ahead. However, it's very, very early to tell. There'll be a lot to transpire between now and then. The economy over there is recovering quite well, which can bode well for Trump and the Republicans. And there's going to be a lot of time between now and then as to how that'll unfold. Some of the main features under the Trump presidency is that there'll be continued lower tax rates for companies to hopefully help stimulate investment, which will really be driven into America. They're very American-centric, and I guess continued strained relationships, so to speak, with some of the countries in Europe and China, obviously, as well. Alternatively, under the Biden presidency and the Democrat party, will probably see his intention is to increase tax rates to companies, which can stifle investment and can scare investors off a bit, and in turn, impact the markets. But I guess conversely to that, he's looking to and is seen to will have better relations with countries in Europe and China and mend some of the bridges there. So potentially that will help offset some of that company tax rate hike. So probably as a more broad feature from a market perspective and an investment perspective, under the Trump regime, we'll probably see markets lead in quite well and then continued volatility like we've seen over the past number of years. And alternatively, under the Biden presidency and the Democrats, we'll probably see some short-term dips in the market while there's uncertainty about how he'll cater to the new role if he does get in. But then potentially some more medium-term stability and consistency around policies, procedures, and trade relations when it comes to delivering the economy to US, but more broadly globally as well. So we may see less of the volatility under a Biden and a Democrat victory. But there'll be a lot of water to go under the bridge between now and then because it's close. Trump's already said that he's going to contest it. So time will tell, and it'll unfold over probably a fairly drawn-out process, I'd imagine. So I may need to update again over the next month or two to give you an update on how things are travelling. All in all, keep well. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions, excuse me, any pressing needs or issues, and we'll always make sure that we're keeping you on the right path and the track moving forwards.